Ever wonder what's really going on behind those TSA checkpoints? While most of us think we know the basics, there are secrets lurking in plain sight. In fact, TSA collects over $900,000 every year from spare change that passengers leave behind. Crazy, right? And did you know TSA confiscates more than 4,000 guns at US airports annually? Even more shocking, 85% of those guns were loaded. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. From sneaky shortcuts to little-known rules that could save you time and stress, I'm about to spill 8 TSA secrets they don't want you to know. Stick around for some tips that will make your next airport experience faster, smoother, and way less stressful. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The VIP shortcut they won't tell you about. If you've ever stood in a long TSA line wondering how some people breeze right past, you're not alone. While programs like TSA PreCheck and Global Entry get all the attention, there's a little-known VIP shortcut hidden in plain sight. It's called TSA Cares. This service was originally designed for travelers with disabilities or medical conditions, but it's open to anyone with a legitimate reason for extra assistance. When you call ahead, ideally 72 hours before your flight, TSA assigns you a personal assistant to guide you through security. No rushing, no confusion, just smooth sailing. The best part? You don't need to pay anything. According to TSA's website, this service is free and can be used at any US airport. It's a hidden gem that most travelers overlook, but once you know about it, you'll never look back. Chapter 2. The hidden loophole for liquids that saves you time. We've all been frustrated by the 3.4-ounce liquid rule. It seems like a hassle, right? But here's a secret hack: solid toiletries. Many companies now offer shampoo, conditioner, and even toothpaste in solid form. These don't count as liquids, which means you can bypass the limit altogether. Another neat trick? TSA actually allows larger quantities of liquids if they're frozen solid. So, if you're carrying something like breast milk, juice, or even medication, just freeze it beforehand. As long as it's frozen when you hit the checkpoint, you're good to go. And here's a surprising stat. According to a recent TSA report, the 3.4-ounce liquid rule leads to over 800,000 items being confiscated every year. Avoid being part of that number by getting creative with your packing strategy. Chapter 3. The secret item that's always a red flag. There's one item that consistently raises sauce eyebrows, and most people carry it without a second thought: powder. Whether it's baby powder, protein powder, or even makeup, powders over 12 ounces can trigger extra screening. In 2018, TSA quietly implemented this rule, but it still catches travelers off guard. TSA agents have to be extra cautious because powders can resemble suspicious substances like explosives when scanned. To avoid delays, the TSA suggests packing any powders over 12 ounces in your checked baggage. If you must carry it on, place it in a separate bin to avoid triggering further inspection. Interesting fact: TSA's own data shows that powder screening incidents increased by 40% after this rule was put in place. Chapter 4. The mystery behind sauce. Random searches. Ever feel like sauce random searches aren't so random? You might be right. While TSA claims that the majority of searches are chosen at random, frequent travelers often notice a pattern. Certain things, like one-way tickets or last-minute bookings, can increase your chances of getting pulled aside. And here's something few people realize: your behavior in line matters too. According to a 2016 TSA report, agents are trained to spot suspicious behavior, which can range from avoiding eye contact to fidgeting. The report even mentions that travelers who seem overly nervous or angry are more likely to be flagged for additional screening. The good news? You can lower your chances by staying calm and keeping your cool. Pro tip: if you're asked to step aside for additional screening, don't argue or act annoyed. Agents are more likely to expedite the process if you're cooperative. Before we move on, hit subscribe and let's dive back into more great content. Chapter 5. The power of the magic words at checkpoint. Ever feel nervous about your bags being roughly handled at TSA checkpoints? There's a simple way to prevent this. Use what I like to call magic words. All you need to say is, "I'd like a manual inspection, please." This might sound formal, but it works. When you request a manual inspection, agents are required to handle your items more carefully. No more watching your electronics get tossed around or worrying about fragile items. What's more, according to TSA guidelines, if you ask for a manual inspection, agents must change their gloves before touching your belongings. Most people don't realize they have this option, and it can make a big difference. So, the next time you're worried about your valuables, don't be shy. Politely ask for that extra care. As travel expert Rick Steves says, it's not just what you pack, it's how you pack, and how you protect it through security. Chapter 6. The surprising tech you can actually bring through. Most people assume certain tech gadgets aren't allowed through TSA, but you'd be surprised at what's permitted. Did you know you can carry on a mini drone as long as its battery meets TSA guidelines? Most drones with lithium-ion batteries under 100 watt-hours are perfectly fine. Another surprising item? E-cigarettes. As long as they're in your carry-on, and not checked, TSA allows them. It's one of those rules most people don't realize until they have to throw it away at the airport. And here's a fun fact. Per TSA data, the most commonly flagged tech items are actually simple ones, laptops and portable chargers. To avoid extra screening, keep them easily accessible and remove them from your bag for scanning. Lastly, if you're carrying tech like a gaming console or camera gear, keep in mind TSA doesn't require you to turn them on. Just take them out of your bag, and you're good to go. Chapter 7. The TSA freebie hack no one talks about. Did you know TSA offers free services at checkpoints that most travelers never take advantage of? One of the most overlooked is free wrapping of gifts. If your wrapped gift is flagged for inspection, TSA will carefully unwrap it and, here's the secret, they'll rewrap it for free. That's right, if you're traveling with holiday presents or birthday gifts, don't stress about having to unwrap and rewrap them at security. According to TSA's holiday travel tips, agents are trained to offer this service, yet hardly anyone knows about it. Another TSA freebie: complimentary screening for film photographers. If you're carrying film, especially older or high-speed types, you can request a manual inspection. This will help protect your film from X-ray damage. Pro tip: if you're unsure about your rights, ask the TSA agent. You'd be surprised how many services they offer that go unnoticed. As Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest, and that includes knowing your airport perks. Chapter 8. The ultimate carry-on hack to get more on the plane. Here's a hack that'll make you feel like a packing genius. TSA allows you to carry extra items in addition to your carry-on if you label them as medical supplies. For example, a small cooler with snacks or beverages can be counted as a medical item if you declare it for dietary needs. The same goes for large water bottles if you're staying hydrated for medical reasons. There's also a lesser-known trick with clothing. TSA doesn't restrict how many layers you wear. Want to bring an extra jacket or sweater but don't have room in your bag? Wear it through security, then stuff it in your carry-on afterward. A 2019 study from the travel industry showed that 57% of travelers overpack for flights. So, learning how to work TSA rules for personal items can help you avoid checked baggage fees and make the most of your carry-on allowance. Remember, TSA agents see it all. If you can justify your extra items under their guidelines, you'll be good to go without adding extra fees. Play it smart, and you'll maximize what you bring every time. Subscribe to get the latest and greatest content delivered straight to your feed.